Hello, I'm Tom Wilkinson, and welcome to the Thinking in English podcast, a podcast for intermediate to advanced level English learners. At the end of November, Collins English Dictionary released their 2021 Words of the Year. Let's look at the winners and runners up on today's episode of Thinking in English. And as always, go over to my blog, thinkinginenglish.blog, full of great content and every single transcript for every single episode. And take a look at my Instagram page, Thinking in English Podcast, or the link is in the description. It's now December, and the time of the year when we begin to look back over events and trends of the past 12 months. Did you do everything you wanted to in 2021? What were the major events that occurred this year? How has the world changed? Well, perhaps I will make some episodes covering these topics in the next few weeks. But for English students and language nerds, probably the most useful thing to think about is the trends in the language we use over the past year. Language is not a static thing. It does not stand still. Language is flexible, growing, changing, evolving, and always developing. Every year, new words are invented, words become popular, words get new meanings. And at the same time, words can also disappear and become uncool or untrendy. For this reason, you can't just rely on a vocabulary textbook you bought 10 years ago to help you learn English. If you want to keep up to date with the latest events, the latest trends, and the major news stories, it is important that you are aware of the popular words and vocabulary over the past few months. So, today, let's look at the most popular words of 2021. At the end of November every year, some of the world's largest dictionaries release their Word of the Year results. I actually recorded an episode last year about Oxford Dictionary's Word of the Year 2020. I really recommend checking that episode out as there's lots of good vocabulary that's still relevant today. And I introduce some more of the background about Word of the Year decisions. And as always, that will be linked in the description and on the blog. This year, I'm going to introduce you to Collins Dictionary Word of the Year. So not Oxford, but Collins this time. Collins is also a British English dictionary. So without further ado, let's discover Collins English Dictionary's top 10 words of 2021. NFT. The 2021 Collins Dictionary Word of the Year is NFT. Now, before I define this word, I'm just going to make it clear that I know very little about NFTs, digital money, and cryptocurrencies. But related vocabulary actually appears a few times on Collins' list. So I'm sure some of you listening are experts on this topic. I'm also sure others will have never have heard of an NFT before. So I'll try to give some simple definitions. Okay, back on topic. The word of the year for 2021 is NFT. Actually, NFT is an abbreviation for non-fungible token. A non-fungible token refers to a way of, proving that you own something digitally. It is a kind of unique digital certificate registered using blockchain technology, meaning that ownership of that certificate can always be traced. These tokens are used to record ownership of different assets. At the moment, it is mainly used for artwork and collectibles, but in the future, non-fungible tokens could have other uses. Furthermore, NFT is not just used to refer to the digital record of ownership of assets, but now also refers to the asset itself. An NFT is an asset whose ownership is recorded through a non fungible token. For example, a few mainstream artists, including Damien Hirst, have begun selling their art as NFTs. Do you own any NFTs? Now, next, let's have a look at the runners up, the other 9 words in the top 10. Cheugy. Cheugy is a slang term that has been around for a few years, but became increasingly popular over the past 12 months. And I guess as maybe I'm a little older than a lot of the kids using this word cheugy, probably I'm pronouncing it wrong. Cheugy is used to mock someone or something as no longer being cool or fashionable. It is often used to describe someone who is out of date or trying too hard to be relevant and cool. Cheugy is the opposite of trendy. I guess a lot of the fashionable clothes my friends bought when we were in high school 10 years ago would probably be considered as cheugy now. If you want to learn some more slang, check out the episode that I did on British slang terms. Climate anxiety. I'm sure in the future, climate anxiety is going to become a much more serious issue all around the world. Climate anxiety is defined by Collins as a state of distress caused by concern about climate change. Worries, concerns, and trepidation about the future and the impact climate change could have on our lives is causing people to experience real negative emotions. This is climate anxiety. With COP26 meeting in Scotland a few weeks ago, climate anxiety has become uh, an even bigger problem. And also, I have an episode on COP26. Go check it out. Crypto. Just like NFTs, crypto is a word firmly in the world of cryptocurrencies. In fact, crypto is short for cryptocurrency. Defining crypto in only a few words is not an easy task. I guess most people who actually own crypto probably couldn't define it. So here is Collins' dictionary definition. Crypto is a decentralized digital medium of exchange, which is created, regulated, and exchanged using cryptography and usually open source software, and typically used for online purchases. Clear? I think not, because that's confusing for everyone. In other words, a crypto is a virtual or digital form of currency which is nearly impossible to fake as it is secured by cryptography, so like codes, and permanently recorded on blockchain technology. The most famous cryptos are Bitcoin and Ethereum, but there are hundreds, probably even thousands or millions of different cryptos out there. Double-vaxxed. If you are double-vaxxed, you have received 2 vaccinations against the disease. Double-jabbed is also used. Now, I'm sure you all know which disease we want to be double-vaxxed against, right? Are you double-vaxxed? I'm actually triple-vaxxed. And I think you'll start to see people talking about triple-vaxxed and COVID booster vaccinations more over the next few months. Hybrid working. Hybrid working has become much more common over the past year. Hybrid working is defined by Collins as the practice of alternating between different working environments, such as from home and in an office. Due to the pandemic, many companies have been reluctant to allow employees back to the office at the same time. Instead, hybrid working allows some employees to work in the office and others to work at home. I've actually been hybrid studying recently. Classes at the graduate school are offered in the classroom, if you can go in, or on Zoom at the same time. Metaverse. I recorded an episode on the metaverse only a few weeks ago, so make sure you listen to it if you haven't already. I provided a much more detailed definition in that episode, but in simple terms, the metaverse is a proposed version of the internet that incorporates three-dimensional virtual environments. Rather than just existing on your computer or your smartphone, the metaverse will use new technology to make the internet a more immersive experience. Now, if you're still confused, well, there's only one thing for it. Go and listen to the earlier episode. Neopronoun. Pronouns have become a political and social issue in recent times. Pronouns are technically words that refer to a noun or group of nouns, but it may be easier to just give you some examples. I, me, he, she, you, it, everyone. Different languages have different ways of using pronouns. Japanese rarely uses pronouns. Chinese pronouns distinguish between male and female when writing, but not when speaking. Fijian language has the largest pronoun system of any language. English pronouns distinguish between men and women, male and female, he and she. However, what if you feel like he or she doesn't really reflect who you are? What if you would prefer to use general or gender neutral pronouns? Well, that is where neopronouns come in. A neopronoun is a newly created pronoun, usually designed to avoid gender distinctions. A neopronoun would be used in place of he, she, and they, and there are lots of examples of neopronouns online. So if you're interested, feel free to research them yourself. Pingdemic. Pingdemic is a combination of the words ping and pandemic. The pingdemic refers to the large-scale notification of members of the public by a contact tracing app. Depending on your country's contact tracing apps for stopping the prevention of coronavirus, the pingdemic might have existed, or it might have never happened. In the UK, if you spend time with someone who then tests positive for coronavirus, you will get a notification or a ping on your phone telling you to isolate yourself. The pingdemic refers to this, but on a really large scale, when tens of thousands of people are forced to isolate after being close to an infected person. Regencycore. The final runner-up for Word of the Year is Regencycore. And thankfully, Regencycore has nothing to do with pandemics or cryptocurrencies. Regencycore is a style of dress inspired by clothes worn in the high society during the Regency period. The Regency period was about 200 years ago in Europe and has a very distinctive fashion style. I'd encourage you to go on Google and search Regency fashion. After the success of shows like Bridgerton on Netflix, people have become interested in Regencycore and decided to try dressing in 19th century style clothing. So here is today's final thought. Those are Collins Dictionary Words of the Year 2021. The word of the year was NFT, with climate anxiety, double-vaxxed, metaverse, pingdemic, Cheugy, crypto, hybrid working, neopronoun, and Regencycore as runners-up. Which words are new to you? Which have you heard or used before? Can you incorporate any of these terms into your vocabulary? Thank you for listening to today's episode. If you enjoyed it, please leave a review or rating, recommend it to your friends, or let me know on Instagram. My Instagram is thinkinginenglishpod. The link should be in the description. And make sure you check out the Thinking in English blog. I love hearing from listeners, and I really appreciate all of the messages I have received over the past few months. feel free to send me a message or give me some advice or recommend a topic. Have a great day, and I'll see you next time.